Question number 3.
Question number 3. Yeah, she did. Question number 3.
Huh? I turned it on.
He did 5. Find your notes. That's a problem. Everybody on the paper. And then we did 6 too. And the culture one was the first class, second class. Was the 6. This one, this one, I need to put a date. Yeah. Babes, we didn't want to. 5, 6 is it. Who's here? That's too busy to go on out doing, yeah, I'm in Northern. Last week we did 7, and we did 1 and 2. And the week before,
Testing.
I tried to stand up.
Lost them. Yeah.
You Betty.
So,
Yeah, come on, work. Somebody else.
You thought you talked about Thanksgiving?
She was going to come in and
When my work is on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, she's pregnant. Yeah, she's pregnant.
Sarah, we know what I'm Sarah. Don't you want to be careful? What's before?
turn around.
No, I didn't say anything. It's him. Alina. No, Alina worked for the game. For the She left us. A couple of them left us and never came back. You remember the man who was at the back of the glasses? They never come back to class. They never come back to class. But they didn't even been for the exam? No. That was not here. You saw him? Anything else? They probably finished the hearing. Your balance at the
some people took this now, but they just can't get the results. They can't get the results.
Yes, I could close that.
Oh, you all having fun?
Oh, no.
This is fun day? All right. Question 3.
Geographic. Yeah, I correct. Yeah, yeah.
Boy, you giggling.
That's
Everybody
Brian.
happy?
That's Brian.
Your favorite.
My favorite about here.
Why they keep saying that, Brian?
I walk with you now.
Why you plenty talking but none talking
That's
about question
Brian
3?
again. Favorite.
Why they keep saying that?
That's what it is.
Okay, what is question 3 about?
The different types of risks.
Possible risk. Likely to impact your sector of choice.
Say that again.
Read the question.
What did I say?
Read it.
Read it.
Or illustrate through the use of examples the possible risks and subsequent consequences that are likely to impact on a sector of your choice and on firms regulated in the sector if they are used for financial crime purposes.
Okay.
What did I say?
You didn't say financial crime.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Battle.
Yes, you did. All right, so let's go. Someone must have tackled this over the weekend.
Brian.
Why did you leave Brian alone?
Brian say permanent papers.
Question 3.
Regulatory risk, reputational risk.
Hmm?
I think you know corporate papers, paper, something like that.
Choose a sector first.
Yes, choose the sector first.
Financial services.
Mm-hmm. Firms? What kind of firm? Firm.
Brian? Yeah.
Commercial.
Commercial banks. You can do commercial banks. You can do banks. You can do trusts. You can do MSBs. You can do credit unions.
Well, you see that they
You
can
can
do
do PTCs. That is it.
But it's in the state right after this. Almost like how they want to do with the letters to send to people who say, well, if you send this money, I'll release more money to you. They were calling up people that, like older folks and telling them to send the money from the ground to them.
Oh,
Yeah, like
scam.
scam, yeah.
Are people so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
Certainly be surprised when people still falling for that.
They
scam.
are.
Okay, question 3.
Yeah.
It's easy, eh?
Okay, we get the answer then, sis.
I'm waiting for it. All right, that'll be all right. And you said easy?
No, I mean, it's very relatable to what I do.
Okay, well, let's go. It relates to somebody. Whoopee, let's go.
Okay, I was thinking MSPs.
That's fine.
The risk, like they were saying, the romance scams, the person in need scams. It's a bunch of financial scams that happens. People, they pretty much do like.
I can stop you right there.
Okay.
What is she giving us? Say it again.
No, I was saying MSBs pose a high risk because of the high cash content, and people tend to abuse it. What they like to do is use it as a vehicle to pretty much solicit. They would use like social media platforms or target emails to pretty much fish the customers to send them money.
Okay, so what is she saying? Yes. Yes, okay.
I got some.
So she's giving the examples. She's giving the examples. Using an MSP. So she's seeing it happen, an MSP, but now you need a typology to go with that. B.
Money service business. And on the
Okay,
board,
so you've given us an example, right? So I'll put your example, because you know how it works. But when they want these examples here, you need a typology. So I want you to convert that to a typology. But you still haven't answered the question.
Yeah.
So think again. At least you close, you have an example.
That's right, baby girl.
Or you pick a different,
So wouldn't that fall under financial risk?
what?
Dumb examples what she was giving.
Those are examples.
I mean, but is
What are
it
the risks? No, that's an example. What are the risks? Mm-hmm.
compliance risk?
Okay, so hold on. So she's giving me some. What'd you give me? Operational.
Reputational. Legal.
Compliance.
Compliance,
We could just forget it.
regulatory, right? Well, that'll be a
And you'll say financial reputation.
jurisdiction.
Geographic.
Reputation.
So you would count all of these as, okay. What does the question ask you?
Illustrate your use and examples,
Mhm.
possible risks and subsequent
So that if you
consequences
apply
that are likely to impact the sex of your choice.
Mhm.
If there are used
So example, so
If they are used for financial crime purposes,
that'll be your
the possible risk consequences if is used for financial crime.
That's a house?
That's one of these.
Oh, that's supposed to be the financial institution?
Yes.
Oh.
If the financial institution, any one of those up there, is used for financial crime, what are the risks and what are the consequences? And then give an example or examples, depends on your word count. So let's take an MSP. If it is used for financial crime, what's the first risk?
Reputational.
legal.
And all kind of things.
It's used for financial.
Regulatory. It can be one of those.
Oh, you're wrong.
Which one? Financial? It is financial. These are examples of risk that fall under financial risk.
Financial risk is taken
No. Not in this job.
Okay. So let's go. How are you gonna answer this question? It's not chapter 1, it's not chapter 2, it's not chapter 3, it's not chapter 4, no. Let's go. Let's go.
That was an AML we talking about.
Financial crime. So let's take the first risk, what you said it is, reputational, financial crime, is that the most important one? No, what's the most important one?
I feel like reputational.
No, but what's the most important one?
I mean, if you can't operate, just finish.
All of them
No,
are
if you
financial,
trade-
but of which one of them, which one is the most important one?
I feel like
MSB.
reputation.
So what do we
Regulatory.
compliance first?
And you get fines and.
We could say that one.
Why? For
No.
reputation or regulatory?
What, jurisdiction, like geographic.
You put the receipt right in there.
What? Let's put that first. So if we use your example of a, let's say a scheme to defraud. So your institution is used for a scheme to defraud. The first thing you have is the legal risk as an entity. What's the second risk you have? No. Regulatory. Third one. What else?
Operation.
You already put one this financial.
Compliance.
We need to get off a compliance risk. So then you have to give them the consequences. Now remember, the examples you give have to align with this. So, yeah.
You were asking, like which one was more important. So your suggestion is that we have to put them in order of importance?
Always have to prioritize your risk. consequences?
Fines and penalties. Loss of market share. Loss
Yes.
of consumer confidence.
Market share, confidence, trust,
Trust.
From the regulator.
It can force a shutdown, I mean.
You could have change. Yeah, we got loss in market share, loss of business. Or I could just change this.
What's that?
Small regulation.
Or laws.
And then probably more increased cost of doing business. Because of. Some more regulation.
As a
Yeah,
result of that.
yeah, as a result.
Okay.
The borrowers in sin?
No friend.
No, we use say that, we use say sin.
Increase.
Yeah, we use say increase. That's change.
Daddy don't change.
Of course it is.
Stop. Y'all
It's change.
Stop.
That's
That's
the
the
Greek
delta.
symbol.
Yeah,
Greek
some
symbol,
change.
delta,
Who know what any
change.
Greek symbol?
Miss Archer.
Change in Wyoming.
Nah, I swear, like you.
What?
Give me a break.
Yes, it means change.
Give me a break. Give me a
Colorado,
break.
let the end
Right. What, you touched that?
No, I think.
I so we can.
Yes.
I didn't do this that night. I don't remember that.
Business people, let's go.
Used to use
That's
these
what I
things
said I
at
did
work.
too, but I don't remember.
Yes.
And people understand that, the borders understand that.
Yeah, why? It means change.
Don't give that to me, don't get that.
I need some examples. I told you all to read from last week. Let's go. Some examples.
The book I didn't.
Up and low.
Of what, that's a grant.
Wells Fargo.
Yes, you can use that.
Last thing,
Yes. So you know some.
yeah.
Who say Bernie Mac?
Pretty much.
Deutsche Bank still getting fined.
No, she say Bernie made up.
Deutsche
That's-
Bank.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, all the time.
They still getting fined.
Yes.
Ms. Ash is not Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
Get off.
Made up with
One
all-
minute.
Remember the big scandal Bernie made up and he,
We just had one
Yeah.
here.
That was
Delta
Delta.
what the
and
ones
Aspak.
came.
With the Ponzi scam.
Where
You mean as of late, right?
where's
They were what?
It was alleged.
That's alleged.
Yeah, you know, we.
his brother or someone was also offering.
Who?
Yeah,
Bernie Madoff?
Yes.
Well,
Big.
What sector we in? No, but what sector we in?
Financial services.
Money services.
You said MSP.
Miss
That,
Archer.
you didn't say
That's
securities.
right, that's right.
Miss Archer, so if we
Okay.
were, if we were doing immigration, it would be that big visa scamming.
No, that's alleged.
That's alleged.
But I thought they said they called him, but they were setting it up.
Yeah, but you know, case come out of that.
Hang on, Paul, that's alleged.
Also, there it is.
They know, the people got him recorded.
Yeah, but you know, case come out of that. When I say no, they
yeah.
talk about the big one.
Oh,
But there's so many.
FIFA and
So-
FIFA and
oh,
FIFA and where was?
Who?
What the Western Union, remember that Western Union case with FIFA where the money that was laundered money? I mean, it was laundered.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Western
the
Union.
people.
That's what
oh,
shut-
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
stopped
yeah,
Western
yeah, yeah,
Union
yeah. I remember that.
Stuff here, that's what knocked that down, yeah.
And that's where your boy was involved in doing.
That's what caused them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, now read the question again.
What does it on the side of that?
FIFA.
Yeah.
The soccer
The
association.
soccer.
I try, but that handwriting there.
It says FIFA. You can read that from here.
again.
That's shit. That's what I tell you. See right
Western
there?
Union slash FIFA.
At the
No,
top.
I didn't see where you wrote it. So read the question again. And I want you to put on your hat GRC. Put on your hat GRC. Read it again. Deutsche. Deutsch. SCH.
You have to talk about how it impacts the sector, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're gonna go back to.
So this is
GRC,
gonna, this is gonna indicate
Go
what,
back to GRC, yes.
And management,
Senior manager,
Yes.
the phone at the phone.
Mhm.
Was born on the impact.
And
and control,
controls.
internal controls.
accountability.
Mm-hmm.
We still on number 3.
Yes.
The policies and procedures.
I mean, all of this, we have to look at whether there were changes, both from the company's perspective as well as the regulators, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So the impact.
Mm-hmm. And you're gonna take this from a GRC perspective. Don't go down the road of AML.
So sorry. I mean, I know this is the GRC thing that we're doing now, but how does that go into this particular question? I'm not saying we're really speaking like we can go forward, so, you know.
The whole course is on board.
I know, but this particular 10-point question, I'm trying to see how that fits in. Which part does
Your whole answer when you write it has to be focused, as if you are speaking of GRC. It pull out the risk out of the GRC for you to do this. It pull out the C out of this, because if you don't comply, what's gonna happen? You'd legal ramification and costs and reputational risk. You have to deal with the G. What's G? Governance. And governance involves what? Policies, procedures, monitoring, all of that. So you have to write the answer
Control.
From that perspective.
from that perspective, that you understand how GRC is woven into when a financial institution is used for financial crime,
The impact.
the impact of it.
Yeah, because we GRC don't allow anything.
Exactly.
It's something
No
like-
control.
So, right, and if you don't have proper policies and procedures, then it comes true. Exactly.
Hence the board.
And so this is why I say you write it 3 times. Because when you write it the first time, you may write it from an AML perspective, but you didn't look at it from a governance perspective.
That's tendency, you're just thinking AML.
You gotta change your
You have to change your mind.
Mindset.
Your examples, because it's financial crime. See, if you take a different market, you may not even use these examples, these at all. Give me another type of risk that can fall here, if it's a different market.
Oh, you're a sanction. Yeah, she is.
Credit risk.
That's right.
Liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
Market risk.
Exactly. You see how it changes? It depends on the sector. And that's what you need to bear in mind. So make sure when you
The first
select
thing
the
is the
examples, that examples match the risk that you're talking about. Because you can't provide an example that is speaking about a risk that you didn't put here. What did they mumble in the back there?
Oh, I was busy thinking
Yo,
about
you
risk.
heard them, because you started laughing.
Today,
Mumble, I think it was Brian.
Brian, you getting called out?
Listen here. I'm telling you what I'm walking their fronts, alright? The lady out there mistaken me for the wrong pork chopper, and she had attitude with me.
She got us shots last week.
So you see why I told you all to read?
Told her to close the door. So from then, she been
When I
giving that
walked
to
in
us.
here
Oh,
morning,
this is last time, eh?
Yeah, no.
If you get Joe, we can do
She tried, Brian. Brian didn't get out the door and she could have, she answered him.
she made a mistake.
And I was going to switch
Who
it.
said that? It was who said it wasn't me, and I believe that's what she thinking it was me.
To who? To the wall. Class is over. I'm going home.
So y'all can get a little feel.
It don't set up around here.
Oh,
Besides, you say some funny things sometimes.
you could have switched, we could have gone right over there following you. That's all.
And they would switch back in the room.
That's all. You was coming over there?
That's what this one said. He said she's get up and
We was
leave.
coming over there? We was.
No, don't do that.
Oh, what?
But you don't do that.
Did that one time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When the teacher came, they all came.
I'm blaming
And they stood in the back.
Yeah.
Almost 60 people.
Yeah.
What you want us to do?
What you want to
They
say?
got up and they left.
Oh,
That was not nice.
that's what it is. I pay my money for quality.
Man, I can't.
Oh, you need to stay where you're supposed to be. So,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Miss Archer, you have to understand, some of us, our jobs paying this, and some of us paying the personally out of our
Personally,
pocket.
personally.
Yes, right.
But-
We can't afford
I
to
pay
risk
for
that.
quality, I'm listening well.
Question 4. What's question 4? Oh yeah, you don't put it together. You gotta write this yourself. You see how short these are? You gotta write these.
And you better budget your word count by the marks.
Yeah, I told you I'd start long time.
You start? Oh, okay then. You are here, but that's why. Listen, you right with us. Don't come up with this girl, yeah? No. It's been a month. What?
She reads all people.
Something.
That's plenty of-
Answer the people question.
where we start?
Oh, Lord, mercy, mercy, we have to- you have to go through things.
It's actually Friday laughing.
Let's go. What happened? Start again.
Read this question.
Read aloud.
I would give my boss. You're not sure.
What is wrong with these any, meeny, miny, and mo?
Oh, I know, it's so focused on question 4.
Okay, thank you. Let me hear from some people I didn't hear from. Like you.
I said, oh,
I heard from all.
I act like you don't know us. Okay.
I hear from you. I heard from these two last week too much. What about you? You ain't contributing tonight? Your voice gone? I had none last week either. I still talk. Did I not?
Yeah, you
Did I see
did.
that? You
You
get no
did.
voice.
Yeah, she got no
And it's
voice.
going again. So let's go. Question 4.
So, you gotta put the scarf on.
That's it, yeah, governance.
This drive serious.
Right, so sorry. What? What does he even
You
ask?
have no choice.
What does he even ask?
You have no
Yeah.
choice.
I didn't even understand what you're saying.
What the question say, honey?
Regulatory compliance.
Yeah, I'm sharing with you.
Doesn't make no sense.
What?
This question,
You didn't read it before?
I read this 3 times since I
Well,
sit
make
here.
it 5.
I like that, I can grab that.
Yes.
What is, open, make it 5?
Hold on.
Make it 5.
Make it 5. Let's go read it again. What is the question asking you?
All I understand is the purpose of regulatory compliance.
And give example that you could support, that could be supported.
How activities linked to understanding and addressing behavior. You can't give us like what it really saying, like just. There's a lot of
When I
words.
think about addressing
There's a lot of words.
behaviors and stuff, it brings into place, making sure that you understand the culture of the company. I'm all over the place. It's just
Does this lead into
Okay.
question 5?
Keywords. What?
regulatory compliance.
Compliance.
What is it?
Mm-hmm.
Regulated firm.
Behaviors, understanding and addressing behaviors.
And they're telling you don't focus just on governance, which is what deals with rules and procedures, take everything
Rules
into
and
consideration.
procedures. Achievement.
Getting better?
No.
Yes?
Behaviors of who?
Exactly. This is GRC.
They
That's
could
what I'm
skip,
saying.
they could skip
Yeah.
this question.
But they're saying don't just focus on the rules part of it, eh?
No, focus on, or yeah, rather than focusing on.
Rather than
the rules.
focus on.
Look at everything. So
Let's say
looking at
rather
the
than-
risk, looking at compliance.
Culture.
You're looking at the organization.
What's the purpose of regulatory compliance? We did this chapter already.
To ensure you're complying with the regulators' requirements.
It is
What's the purpose?
Compliance with regulator.
What's the
It's
purpose?
organization.
No, what's the
Make sure
purpose?
organizations and
What's the purpose of all of this regulation?
Money laundering and terrorism finance.
What do you mean you don't know?
International standards and best practices.
Yes.
Yeah, we went over this.
Exactly. Okay, what else? Come on.
Just even from them questions you read on that board that day. Listen.
No, seriously. This is, remember I told you all, when you finish AML, I told you all, this class is totally different.
they should do this one first.
I explained it to you. This is not you read the cat jump over the moon and then you answer a question and say darn moon. This one you pull in from everything.
Space.
Oh,
Come on, let's go.
Best practices.
What's the purpose of regulatory
to
compliance?
protect consumers,
Yes, one of them.
maintaining market stability and
Okay, so you got them
confidence,
all there, right? We did all of them last week.
preserving market integrity,
Okay.
fighting financial crime. This is in the workbook.
Yes, we did all of that. So reflect on the purpose of regulatory compliance. You just reflect it?
Yes.
You remember?
Yeah.
And illustrate.
Use example.
Okay. How activities linked to understanding and addressing behaviors can support achievement of these within a regulated firm. Got it? But all they want you to then to do is to flip it and say if regulatory compliance is rules-based, how does it affect it? You see what I'm saying? Rather than focusing on rules and procedure, which is two approaches that a regulator uses, they're saying, instead, look at how the purpose of regulatory compliance, which is this, to build confidence and promote that culture, how activities link to understanding and addressing behaviors. So again, we're talking about what? Culture and ethics and integrity.
And that's what I just said.
No, you only say culture, babe.
But listen, I had the idea.
And they're saying how that can support a regulated firm rather than using a rules or a rules base or procedures. So you're doing a comparison.
So,
With a company having good ethics and culture compared to a regulatory approach that is
Just only rules
rules-based.
and, yeah.
Can you get the
So we're
outcome
looking
that
at
you're looking
principles
for?
versus rules-based then?
It says rules and procedures.
No, so wouldn't
Rules-based
culture,
and
ethics, and
procedure.
integrity fall under principles? The principle-based approach? No?
Is it?
Are you asking me? I guess not.
Well, you telling me.
What you like to say, no sis.
No sense,
Just put that in a nutshell again.
So basically, they want to understand, if you're looking at a company after you've selected your sector, whatever, that is regulated, obviously a firm that is regulated, and you're looking at them side by side, what would be the outcome of one if it's strictly just about, you stick to the rules and that's it, and one where it looks at the culture of its people, and they're looking at, like, I guess, the behavior of people, and they're not just, I guess, autocratic leaders.
What they're looking at is you have a regulatory approach to running a company and making sure it's in compliance.
Without any
But they're
any
saying
care
you can
about-
actually look at the behavior of the individuals within the organization. Understand how people
in
conduct
addition
business.
to the regular.
You're comparing it.
Or you're
They're
comparing
saying
it.
rather than focusing on putting in a bunch of rules, they say a company must comply with these rules or this is the penalty, focus more on internally,
the culture.
GRC, the culture of the organization. If you create the right culture from the tune from the top, people will abide by the rules. There's less need for regulation. That's all the question is asking.
So how does this question differ from number 5? Is number 5 talking about compliance, culture, and ethics and all that stuff?
Now, when we get to number 5, because you can see that.
Question 5 says good.
This- Yeah.
It says good.
Sorry.
4 is talking about rules-based, which is from a regulatory standpoint, versus operating a company, having strong ethics, strong ethical culture. Two different things they're talking about there. A heavy hand or do it from the top. Where you have staff who know the rules and who are always compliant, who are honest people. If you build that from the top
Build
down.
the culture, they follow the rule.
Exactly.
Push
You will
the rule,
need to
yeah.
have all of these regulations,
Okay.
especially when you're talking about financial crime. Five is asking you a totally different question.
Okay, I was looking at the compliance, culture, and ethics.
You understand?
What 5 is asking you?
Define what a good compliance culture is.
We on 5 now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
An illustrated links with ethics and integrity within a firm, regulated and self of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Discuss why establishing a good compliance culture is important.
Stop right there. You see the difference? Read the first sentence again. Read it again so you can hear you.
Define what a good compliance culture is and illustrate its links to ethics and integrity within a firm regulated in a sector of your choice.
Okay, stop right there. What does the first word say?
Define.
Okay. The question you answered, did they tell you to define?
No, he said
Okay,
reflect.
do not define. It's a discussion. This one asks you to define, so you define. The other ones didn't ask you to define, they asked you to explain, identify, illustrate. Points to be taken off, you take the wrong approach. Yes, they do. It's much harder. Papers are much harder. Okay, so you have to define. Okay, what a good culture is and illustrate its links to ethics and integrity within a firm. So you're going to define what is a good culture, but they want you to illustrate by giving examples of how ethics and integrity are all a part of having a good culture. Because the three of them go hand in hand. Then it tells you to do what? Discuss why establishing a good compliance culture is important, who has responsibility for doing so, how they might achieve this, providing appropriate examples to support your views. So they want your views. And when they want your views, you should say my organization, where I work. It's just not abstract.
How it works in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Some of the company business,
That's all.
so they can apply more regulation on the
That's all.
country. Don't tell them. That's all.
Brian.
Now, when you answer this question, do not answer this question in the same way it is laid out. First paragraph, define. Second paragraph,
Just
why a good culture is important. Next paragraph, no, do not do that.
Does that not make logistical sense?
No.
It's not a good answer.
Child, tell me which one, give me
This
the
is-
grade. Come,
That
let's
is
go.
preliminary answer.
Yeah.
no.
This is GRC, this is an international
Yeah.
certification, you weave that in.
So leave it at, yeah.
Plus, your word count limited, girl.
You have to weave that in.
But that's why I would go point for point for point.
That's your first draft. That's your first
Draft it
draft.
like that, then tie.
Then you need to tie them in. Because how do you look like a first grader answering the question?
But you asked me 5 questions.
Yeah, the question is written like, but the question is written like that, so when you answer, they're gonna see how well you can articulate your thoughts.
And you can articulate your thoughts in order of the
But
question
I'm
that you
looking at
asked.
paper right
It won't
this paper.
flow.
Hold on, what you talking about?
It won't flow.
You talking
It won't
question
flow.
five only?
It won't flow
No,
for
it
you
won't
to get
flow.
your 20
If then
points.
you write it like in point form.
Yeah, you're writing the point form.
They want the
It doesn't
point
show that
right.
you, it doesn't show that this comes from within you and your
It's like you write the
experience.
guidelines. That's not what it's like.
No. And this is a 20-point question. So they're really looking for you to explain and express.
Fluidity.
Yes, it has to mesh together and flow. And that's a 20-point question, remember that.
Yeah, so
So when they say discuss, they're looking for a full discussion. So you could either do it by after defining, give examples and explain each one, or talk about either a poor versus a good, bringing out how a good compliance culture should be. The way in which you answer the question moves you from getting 20 and getting 0. You have to demonstrate, one, your knowledge, and two, your skills in articulating this properly. GRC is about articulation. It's all about writing, how you deliver it. Good?
$1,000.
Yeah, right. You have other lecturers, don't you have another lecture next week?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll get to it.
We can't just keep you waiting.
No?
She doesn't like to sit us long.
Yeah, that's, I know that's loud. You see she gonna leave us tonight.
She gotta go on the next mission.
That's right.
So you could be in that room over there next week, eh?
What today is Wednesday? Not having more Wednesday classes.
She finished for
Holiday,
us.
she in holiday mood.
So when you gonna read over my paper?
You better get
No,
it
someone else
together.
next week. You didn't bring it? She brought hers.
Not
Get
just
an
say,
email.
Guess what?
Send me email.
If I was to read her paper to you, you would say the same thing.
No, man, don't put a girl on the spot like that.
I'm not gonna read it, I'm just saying.
I read like 2 lines.
I can't use the email it.
No,
She
the
just-
point
you write it
is
down in the
this,
email.
she made the effort and she brought it. If she didn't bring it, she would have turned it in like that. And then she got a grade, she would have cried.
Yeah, but I don't want to
Because
turn
she
in my
would
own
have
like
a clue.
that, so you can give me an email, I can
I
send
told you
you.
to do it last week.
Shh.
Did I not say that last week? I said bring it in.
Work with a game plan or don't work at all.
That's right, Lee.
And you know, you be right there emailing. You
Didn't
be-
Sarah bring it last week? Sarah
You
brought
run
it.
Sarah after that, she ain't come back.
That's all right, she know what to write though.
She's going to work on that paper tonight.
That's right, she's gonna wake on them.
You guys in the Bible are two favorites, girl.
Let's try it, politics.
Question 6. Hold on, she say stop.
She have a question. We live in a vida loca.
And please, no Wikipedia, Investopedia, and Dogopedia, and all none of them.
Wikipedia for what?
If you
Just
wanna buy
don't go
now,
there.
I'm just saying what your Wikipedia is.
I don't know, anything you wish to Wikipedia, I don't know, just don't do it.
The people already said it, and they kind of.
Not for sure.
I just trying to what
at this stage,
All right, let's go, question 6. Who you have next?
Randy.
Bring your papers so we can read them.
Or we could just email them to you.
No.
Anyway, I work by the embassy too, so we can run into each other.
You passing security?
I have connection, you know, where but that I can come to you.
Uh-huh.
Alright, be straight. Yeah.
We don't mind you, that's true.
That makes
No,
sense.
I don't think partners, what you like?
But what I trying to say, when she going, she ain't coming back out there.
Of course.
Be right there sitting down.
Read the first paragraph, let's go.
Pumpkin
I don't want
pie.
no pumpkin pie, you can get one of that. First paragraph.
Thomas works within the risk team of Global Bahamas Global. Global Business Global. A regulated firm based in a sector of your choice. Global has an international client base and conscious of many challenges arising in the current business and regulated environment, both in your chosen regulatory environment, both in your chosen jurisdiction and overseas. The executive board is looking to appoint additional board members and specifically non-executive directors to support its ongoing activities. They don't want to wait from the board?
They what?
Huh?
What did you say?
Sorry.
She laughing, let me go over to her.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Come.
We didn't see her last week.
That's
massage
why I'm
us.
completely over my head just now. I don't even have to try to answer it. I ain't lying. I need to read it again.
Read it again. You were missing, you entered the restaurant, it's your turn.
I can't go to the restaurant?
No. What's the first paragraph I'm telling you? Let's go, come on. This is the last question to do for the night, you know, we've done all the rest. Let's go. Y'all have plenty of work to do. And you can spend your whole Christmas reading.
Yeah.
Let's go. January 14th. What's the first paragraph?
They're looking for additional people,
Yeah,
non-executive.
non-executive directors,
So we need different,
of different views.
different companies.
different
a balance.
views. They don't want nobody from the
Okay.
executive board to say anything, they want something from outside. To
Right.
join the
Different
team.
expertise
Why they need it?
A different perspective, right?
Why they need it?
for balance.
Because
They facing challenges.
Challenges.
Challenges, yeah.
And they have an international client.
Face. No, you say something for executive board. Not even the same thing. No, it's not the same thing.
Executive lab.
And what perspective are you taking this from?
Huh?
Perspective.
Thomas, you work with the risk team.
Risk.
What is NED?
The non-executive director. Okay, have scratches. Okay, second paragraph is you, let's go.
Thomas has been asked to provide the board with a guidance paper describing the relevant corporate governance requirements that apply to global and highlighting any current or pending initiatives relating to corporate governance that may have an impact upon global either now and or in the near future.
Ooh, it's plenty.
This paper will be used to assist in decision making regarding global appointments and will then be used as the basis of an information capturing the appointment.
All right. So, what are you telling you there?
So this paper is supposed to,
Corporate governance.
It's a guidance paper.
So wouldn't we need to look
We'll
at,
be using to determine whether board members fit in properly.
Fit and proper environment.
so we can look at Basil then?
This is not a bank.
No.
Global business is a regulated firm based in a sector of your choice.
No.
Can't be a bank.
Why not?
It's gotta be some kind of trade or trade.
Like a trading vehicle, broker dealer, securities.
What if they tell me it's a firm of my
You could
choice?
use that.
They never say firm of your choice.
It's a regulated based on a
In a
sector
sector.
in your
Of
choice.
your sector.
Yeah.
It can't be a bank.
It can't be a bank.
It can't be a trust.
Why, just
Securities.
By law.
Securities.
It must have the name bank or trust in the name. So it's not that. It's not a bank. But how can you argue that
You
that is a
can't.
bank?
You can't.
No, hold on, she wants it to be a bank.
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna argue that? How you gonna answer that that's a bank?
Well, I'm just going by the question, you said it's sector.
They're about the
Yeah,
name
you gotta
bank.
use common sense. That's where they'll get you. It can't be a bank. If you're a bank in the Bahamas, what you have to have in your name?
Bank.
Bank. You get trust, what was in your name?
Trust.
So there's only could be someone.
That was the typo they take it out.
It's done intentionally, so you could go down the wrong road.
Great day.
Child, that's all.
That's the truth. No, to
It
be
is, it's
licensed,
not a
to be
bank.
licensed, but you gotta have the name bank.
It's not a bank,
So you said securities.
Or broker dealer.
a broker dealer.
That's right there, that's right.
I mean, she could argue it.
That's a lot of time, no.
Anyway, while she arguing, let's move on.
Huh? You have some banks that don't have bank in their name?
But they're not behaving.
Yeah, but they mean
They're behaving.
Chase Bank.
Global business, global, we have a bank in here called Global Business. Sounds like,
I mean, it sounds like a bank.
no.
Global business. Business of what?
Okay. So they want the corporate governance requirements that apply to global, so where you gonna get that from?
Basil. No?
You
Father.
doing securities business?
She said father.
I saw you yesterday.
What?
They have to, paper and best practices with securities.
Mm-hmm. Would you look for corporate governance now? Okay,
That's
you all
fine.
go
I
there?
didn't look at it, I just thought it might have been in there. Partial of it.
That's where they want to look.
That's CG.
Business.
That's
Yes.
CG. What's CG?
Corporate government,
Securities.
securities industries, there's
Oh,
corporate
and
government.
SCB, corporate government,
You say you think you do? That's true.
Obviously, so that's what you write. What they rely upon. Securities Commission relies upon, but they don't have one, the central bank's guidelines. Highlighting any current or impending
What is that?
initiative.
Trustee?
Fit and proper.
Fit and proper?
There's guidance for that too. Question is 20 points.
This need to be 100.
They want you to highlight current or impending initiatives. Where you can get that from? Where are you gonna get this from? Yeah. Global business.
I write that in the paragraph.
In the paragraph?
Second.
Oh, okay. I wait for an answer.
So will we be using, what comes after impact is action?
Any question?
Upon global.
Say what?
Upon global.
And in the paragraph, second
Where are you gonna
paragraph.
get this? Where are you gonna find this current or impending initiatives? On corporate governance.
When corporate governance guidelines.
Current or impending initiatives, which means changes to come. Or changes that should be. Exactly. Didn't I give you all one? Look up?
Yeah, the one
Okay.
in the footnote.
Let me give you all some.
And in the footnote, in the book.
Yeah, one of the.
Mhm.
Which one? That's the OECD paper?
Yeah, so you email it.
Yes, we have that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, we do, she get them.
Yeah, she said, yeah, he said it.
That's it. I think that's all.
Now,
Page 62
Got
in the
it?
book, on the footnote.
remember the thick one I showed you all,
Yeah.
first class?
That we have to do in line.
Yeah, now. When you write a guidance paper, shh, when you write a guidance paper, so you'd have done all of this research in the middle here, right? It says guidance paper. So when you hear the word guidance paper, what's the first question that comes to your mind?
Like the whole one's readable, the way you write it.
Exactly. And so your question is, who's your audience?
Someone who is not well versed in compliance, so that must be very simple.
Yeah, read it.
Whose audience? The board. And?
Stop.
And the non-executive director?
New directors going forward. First draft. Second draft. Take this. Read the first bullet point.
Describe the relevant corporate governance requirements that apply to global, explaining why these are relevant for the firm and individuals referred to.
Got it? Second bullet point.
highlight any current or pending initiatives relating to corporate governance that may have an impact upon growth either now or in the near future, making clear their relevance for the firm and the individuals referred to.
What's the word you see, Jeff, on the bullet points?
Relevant for the
Let's
firm
go.
and
Relevance,
individuals referred to.
relevance. So, when you write your first draft, you write it from a. When you write your guidance paper, you write it from a governance.
And then you tie it two together.
Yes, ma'am. And they want you to provide some examples to support your views. So your views will come here. And why it's relevant. So your examples should show if you don't have these things in place, what it will cost the company. Not following the procedure of good corporate governance and appointing the right people to the board. And the key to appointing of directors is making sure that they're fit and proper and they have the requisite skills to carry out the job. Because they said that there are challenges. Yeah, you have to reduce it. Yes, that's what y'all asked for. Y'all say no exams.
We didn't ask for that.
We did not.
They was listening to us.
Yes, they were.
They weren't, we didn't write anything to them, we didn't send them an email.
Exactly.
Voicemail.
We voiced our opinions among ourselves,
Well,
but we didn't tell them
people in other
anything.
sectors
Send them a voice note.
send
They
emails.
must have what's up.
Yeah.
They
the
send
people in the
emails.
section,
They send emails.
Yeah, all them forum things, you pop
Who's
me
the
email.
email?
It's them, who send them?
Mohammed every day.
I blocked them out.
I don't want you to forget.
Trying to get
I don't
married.
want you to forget this and this.
Good job.
We highlight.
Good job.
Sorry, we highlight.
So that means that when you speak about fit and proper, and with regard to corporate governance and selection, you have to make sure when you talk about the requirements for appointing a member to the board, you have to make sure that the skill set is highlighted. Because they have challenges. They have international client base. So what exactly are you looking for? And the same thing for new directors. Because they say you're gonna use this guidance paper for new directors. It's gonna become a part of the information pack. And your challenges is not limited to the Bahamas, but is also international. Additional board members including an NED. So it's more than one. So the first thing you need to do is find out what are the challenges in the Bahamas and international, and then what are you looking for in these directors? And then you state what the requirements, the regulatory requirements for appointing a director and an NED. Non-executive directors. And then you need to say why these requirements are important and to the individuals referred to. Because remember, the whole point of fit and proper is making sure that they don't have any water.
My requirement is important and what?
Scandals, yes. Bankrupt.
Dig it all up in
yes.
the backyard.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to answer, but she keeps saying.
She said the requirements are pointing in your direction.
No, why are the requirements important and
To the individuals. And I said fit and proper. I'm not sure if you want to go.
Child, we need more than that, temporary.
we need Jesus on our side? I need Jesus to be my keyboard.
Keyboard, I didn't just write it down.
That's why I said keyboard, type it up.
And you have the next one?
You want to see that?
I won't be here, but you did all that.
I went straight. That's it. It's just that. It's not fall apart.
So you said when they pass by, you have to see, tell the security.
No. This would be tricky.
We don't like tricks. Halloween numbers.
That's how you write it. Don't worry about that. Okay, so this one you're a consultant. Okay, so this was in his heart. These are easier than this.
So the first one? I take your word for it.
Very easier.
Okay.
They're much easier. Just have to be careful how you answer the one on the risk. All right, you've seen it? Yeah, then. You want copies?
Yes.
All right. You just leave one on the right.
This is my favorite part. I didn't know you could copy much. I mean, like, yes.
I don't have a problem. How many
I don't want no
copies?
problem with copying. This was gonna hurt right down to the nose.
Simon?
The next assignment.
They put,
Assignments.
yo, who don't have a coffee shop assignment 200?
Brian needs one.
Because some people say they can't access it on the website.
Make copies for all of us.
Make copies for all of
Up to Monday, I couldn't get it.
I already got it, I even saved them. I always send it to
Only
your
one
email.
that's posted was my number one, and that's not posted. If
When you
I
hear
was
it,
number
you
one,
like
I
hard
get
copies. You like things that are hard. You don't trust technology.
No, it's
Come here and pass this paper, the paper to sign your name.
But anyway, let me go to school, you know,
Where do you live? Where do you live?
You and that she tried to go on Nassau Street
I
too,
heard
right?
that. I catch the last part. I was on the road. Where do you live? What area?
So you don't go to gates?
See, I know everybody.
But
You
work
get there,
my
everybody
work,
get
that
one.
process of the pass.
Cheap as you going off of them Monkey Street. That's better than going Nassau Street.
No, I'm not going to look for
No,
that
I talk
tonight.
about on,
When
no, I
get
talk
there.
about, that's what I mean,
Would you
cheap
would
as you
find here and
going.
go to gates?
I actually usually use them on the right but I'm going to try
You go
That's
to
a
the beach?
car, that's a car drive.
Oh, you'll be on Bouge?
Do you realize that they're
Down there.
Yeah.
Well, you're in Bouge.
no, but do you realize that their prices are actually better?
I know.
Plus they
It's like
have,
the bush that we
no,
made
plus they
that.
have fruits and vegetables look way better. We trying to leave and out. She then was in here for 3 classes on, come here, one up on this paper.
Said, no, talk like this is live.
I'm